Good afternoon. We are on day one of the 48th Annual Jack Tosh Holiday Classic, live from York High School in Elmhurst, Illinois. My name is Charlie Specht.
And I'm Brian Grant.
Today's matchup is between the Lemont Hornets and the Downers Grove South Mustangs. And we're already underway with Downers Grove South bringing the ball down the court. They're going to move it from the right corner down the block. And a quick finish. Downers Grove South is on the board. Now, Brian, tell me a little bit about these Mustangs.
You know, the Mustangs are 2-6 coming into the tournament. They're 1-1 in conference play so far. Historically, last year they actually ended up not being able to play in the tournament due to COVID. But all time, they're 16-12 in the tournament, and they were champions in 2010 and finished as runner-up in 2018. You know, this year, especially in this first game, it proves a very tough matchup with Lemont. Charlie, tell us about Lemont a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of a different story, especially this year. Lemont is 10-0 right now, so obviously they are undefeated in their conference play, and they're someone many are considering one of the tournament's favorites. But in the Tosh, historically, they're only 4-8. But this is a lineup that features all senior starters, most predominantly the two twins, the Castillo twins, number 1, Mattis Castillo at 6'1". He's number 1, and then number 5, Rocas Castillo, he's also 6'1". Both of them are playing the two guard spots for Lemont. So those are the two names you're going to need to watch out for if you're tuning in. And here's Mattis. Over to 14, Connor Murray, also a senior. And Rocas Castillo is going to draw the foul for Lemont as we are tied 2-2. Gets the first one to go. And the second. Lemont leads 4-2 early, and they're going to go straight into a full court trap. And that's going to be a traveling violation on the sophomore from Downers Grove South. Daniel Fiteris, apologies if I mispronounced that.
Charlie, in the few games that we've seen today from this tournament, a lot of teams have been running this half-court, full-court press, even a full-court trap sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that's really in part to these teams just having a lot of depth. They're able to play their entire team without, you know, the worry that if their starters get tired, they're going to falter in the skill category. And both teams we've seen use it, it's worked really well for them. So we'll be interested to see how it plays out this game. As Lemont gets right back on the board with a quick three. And number 2, Will Potter for Downers Grove South is going to drive in the lane and draw the foul.
Lemont foul number 12, Miles Beecham, his first, team's first. At the line to shoot number 2, Will Potter.
Cannot get the second one to go, so the Lemont lead remains 5. Castillo to Castillo. Murray. Murray can't get it to go, and it's going to remain Lemont ball. And poked away by Downers Grove South, but it will remain Lemont basketball. This time Beecham to inbound. Castillo in the corner. Tries to draw the foul, but can't. Mustangs pushing it down the court quickly and lose control of it. Castillo to Castillo. And he finishes. Lemont with the 9-2 lead early. And right after that timeout, Downers Grove South to inbound.
Lemont's keeping their full court trap, trying to force quick turnovers, and there's one right there.
Downers Grove South seemingly not able to beat that so far. As Castillo is going to take a, great rejection by the sophomores, Feritas. And there's going to be a quick foul come down the court. Downers Grove South to inbound.
Lemont foul number 5, Borchers first, team second.
And Downers Grove South is going to go to the bench. That's going to be number 1, Freddie Kuhlman, the senior, to check in for number 10, Dominic Marcanatelli, who had already came off the bench earlier. Lemont sticking with a man defense. Tough shot right there. That's going to be rebound Lemont. And they're going to push the pace right here. Little no-look pass, goes out of bounds. And that'll be Downers Grove South basketball.
So far, a pretty sloppy game with lots of turnovers on both ends.
Yeah, both teams really not being able to control possession, and most points coming from beyond the arc. Typical story to, if you guys caught it, the Wabansie Valley Hinsdale South game earlier.
Another turnover forced because of the full court press.
Castillo, tough shot. And DGS draws the charge. That's about the third time Sferitas, the sophomore, has ended up on the floor, and it looks like he's feeling it a little bit. Potter stuck in the corner. Finds Veritas, can't finish. Rebound Lemont. Here comes Murray. Castillo to Castillo. Looked like Castillo had a three there. Can take a great screen right there by Beecham. And the other Castillo, back to Castillo. Over to Murray. Downers Grove South not allowing a shot on this long possession. Two-three defense by Downers Grove South. Really limiting the shots Lemont can get off right now.
There we go. Lamont's going to look to hit number 12. Miles Beecham in the middle. Haven't yet. There's a shot there. Deep three. Misses. But that's how you beat the 2-3. You get somebody big that can dish the ball out of the middle and force them inside and pass to the perimeter for an open three.
And Downers Grove South honestly did a great job of playing defense right there. Against a team like this, you're going to need to force those long possessions. You know, force a little bit of a wonky through right there. I mean, that's a great player, and he can make that shot. But you know, I think they'll take that any day. And that's going to be on the floor, so it'll remain Downers Grove South ball as they go to the bench. That's going to be number 15, Daniel Lorick, checking into the game. For number 2, Will Potter. And for Lemont, number 2 is going to come into the game, Ryan Runeas, and he's going to check out Connor Murray. So Lemont going what seems a little bit smaller here. Tough move inside, but that's going to get blocked by number 23, Davidis Belificius. Again, apologies. Quick 3, can't get it to go, but rebound Downers Grove South.
Downers Grove South grabbing their own rebound. Tosh shot won't go.
Lemont giving Downers Grove South some chances there, but can't finish. As Castillo goes straight to the 3, can't get it to go. And Downers Grove South, a little bit of miscommunication, but still takes it down the court. Looks like they're running a little bit of a pick and roll with their 2 big men. Tough finish, can't get it to go, and that's gonna be a charge. Castillo draws the charge, and Lamont's coming right back down on offense. And we're almost done with this first quarter, and Downers Grove South still only 2 points.
And I think from what I've seen in this first quarter early is that Lemont really likes to play fast, and they get a little bit uncomfortable when they have to have a long possession and wait for their shot. Seems like they get kind of antsy and want to just put one up, but DJ is going to have to continue to make them work for anything.
As Castillo's going to get an open look right there, and that's going to go in. Something you cannot allow to the 2 guards from Lemont is a wide open 3 like that, because they'll take advantage. And Lemont leads early, 12-2. There's an open 3 look, and that's way short. Might have gotten a hand on it. Murray's going to push up the court quickly. Castillo looking over to the big man, Belificius. Back to Murray in the corner, wide open for 3. Just short. And Lemont traps House in the corner. Wonky pass. Mustangs hold on to it, and that's going to be ripped out. And a remain DGS ball. And DGS is going to check back in Marcanatelli and Potter. Oh, and a quick steal off the inbound by Castillo, and he's going to push the pace again. Castillo wide open in the corner and can't connect. Downers Grove South really got an opportunity here off of a wide open missed 3. Great crossover. And that's going to be a kick ball violation on Lemont. It will remain Downers Grove South ball. About 25 seconds left here.
So far in this first quarter, the story of the game has been Downers Grove South turnovers on offense, and then Lemont missed 3-point opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, a team like Downers Grove South has had the opportunities this quarter to tighten that gap. Lemont only putting up 12 points, but haven't been able to execute so far. They've got a chance right here, though, with an open 3, and they connect. Cut the lead to 7. Will Potter hurls it up at the last second. Is he going to get it off? He will. Nothing but net on that last chance opportunity. And now, Brian, tell me a little bit about why this game is only 12-5.
I think Lemont could have a way bigger lead than they have right now if they could knock down a few more shots. I think they're still finding their groove. It'll come later in later quarters. For DGS, they've been stumped by this full court press and this trap. The trap from Lemont has caused so many turnovers, and it's brought them to this 12-5 lead. This is one of the lower scoring games, but I think it's because of exactly what I said earlier, turnovers and missed shots.
And we'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, Kenny Stetler of Compass Realty, Elmer's camera, and finally Sutter Law Group. You know, they make streams like this possible. And again, we'd like to thank all of them. And we are back for the second quarter of action. Lemont with a 7-point lead over the Mustangs of Downers Grove South. Lemont staying with their lineup they finished the first quarter with. Most notably, the two Castillo twins at the guards. Downers Grove South switching to what looks like man as they ran the 2-3 pretty well that first quarter, but have switched it up here. Can't get it to go, and Potter with the rebound for Downers Grove South. And he's gonna try and push the pace right there. Tough shot by Severitis, can't get it to go, but rebounded by Downers Grove South. Another offensive rebound. They're gonna put up a three, and they're gonna get it to go. Downers Grove South dominating the offensive board so far. And the lead is cut to 4. Castillo to Castillo. Tough drive in. Castillo down baseline. Little floater. Can't get it to go. Gets his own rebound. Kind of held up right there by Potter. And Downers Grove South going to go right back to pushing the pace. Puts Murray on the floor. Tough corner three. And gets it to go. Downers Grove South, the momentum in this gym has completely changed.
I mean, that's one way to cut a lead down to 1.
Whew. Early in the second, Downers Grove South has came out firing. And the Mustangs are only down 1. Oh, and Lemont seemingly throwing it away, stays with it. Rudas for Lemont with the floater. He's been in for a majority of the game, although he didn't start. Can't get it to go. Downers Grove South, opportunity to take the lead here for the first time. Corner three, can't get it to go, but gets his own rebound. Potter, a lot of scrap on that play. Is one of the reasons this Downers Grove South team is keeping it so close with a powerhouse this year like Lemont.
And you know, in high school basketball, games are won and lost because of runs. You turn the ball over and miss a few shots, 4 or 5 consecutive drives in a row. That can build an 8-point lead that can never be broken the rest of the game.
And Brian, you think a team like Lemont who's 10-0 and maybe hasn't been in a situation like this very often, how do they respond to something like this? What does that mean to them?
I mean, I really think you're 10-0 for a reason. You just got to keep playing your game, calm down a little bit. The shots will start to hit. You'll get your hot hands, and, you know, just keep playing the defense that they've been playing, because there's a bucket right there. They're going to call it a foul, though. It's going to be a charge.
Man, Downers Grove South. Yeah, you'd like to, you know, I know there's a common conception that if you're 10-0 and you kind of get into a point where you might be struggling against a team you should be beating, you know, you can start to get frantic, start to throw the ball away, kind of do some of the little stuff that it seems like Lemont's doing right now, but still in the lead by 1, and Downers Grove South to the line. That should be number 15, Alex Jaros for the Mustangs. Oh, my apologies. Number 15, Daniel Lorick. And we've got a tie game, folks, with 5:45 left in the second. Mattis Castillo. Over to Runas, back to Mattis Castillo, over to Runas. Downers Grove South has switched back to that 2-3 defense. They ran so effectively in the first. And there's gonna be the block. Called on number 25, Daniel Severtis. That's about the 12th time he's ended up on the floor this game.
11 fouls already in this game.
Still inbound. Oh, great finish right there by Beecham for Lemont. And Lemont gets the lead right back. Downers Grove South running out a little bit of a time, but is able to get it over half. Now trapped in the corner. Potter looking, finds the corner, and is able to finish the layup. That's gonna be number 23.
With Justin Waterman, he's down right now on the other side of the court. Downers Grove South is playing 4-on-5 right now. That shot misses. Rebound.
And playing a man down, Downers Grove South is able to get the rebound. And we're gonna go to a short pause here for this injury timeout. And we are right back after that injury timeout. Downers Grove South has the ball. It's gonna be House trying to drive to the hoop. Tough little Euro step, cannot finish. Off the face of a Downers Grove South player. That's gonna be Lemont basketball. A little bit of confusion there on whose ball
A little bit of
that
an
was.
odd turnover.
You don't see that very often. But Lamont's gonna retain possession here. And Noah Tamaris has checked in for the Hornets. Lemont going with a little bit more of an undersized lineup right here. Maybe to attack that 2-3. Oh, great steal right there by House. Is able to control it, makes a great move. Kicks it out for three. Downers Grove South. Off the shot clock. And a 1-on-1. We are already shooting 1-on-1s. Halfway through the second quarter. And that's gonna be for number 44, Justin Sferitis.
And these free throws might actually come down because DGS is in the bonus now. These free throws can be big for later in the game.
Yeah, and that's something that's a changing point. You know, in games we've watched before, teams have just not been able to execute free throws, and they've left points on the board. As Sferitis can't get the first one to go. And Lamont's gonna push the pace right back down. Castillo to Murray. On trying to go baseline. Can't get it to go, and Sferitis gets the rebound. And here comes Potter. Potter to House. Tough shots for Sferitis, can't get it to go. That's gonna be a rebound for Martis Castillo. Mattis Castillo, my apologies. And you're going to get a reach in right there in Downers Grove South. That's their 5th foul.
I'll tell you, Jalen House has made a couple of really nice plays defensively at the top of the 2-3, getting interceptions and forcing steals.
It seems like it's kind of the story of this Downers Grove South team and the reason they're so close. No one's seemingly stood out in the scoring category, but all of them just played really tough, hard-nosed defense. Oh, they're going to leave Murray open for 3. Not going to take it. Over to Castillo. Back to Murray. Over to Castillo. To Castillo. Still fakes the 3, drives in, over to his brother, back to the other brother. My goodness. We've seen a defensive stand like this from Downers Grove South earlier in the game, and it resulted in an errant 3 taken by Lemont. Can these long possessions wear down on Lemont? But no. Castillo's going to draw a foul, and he's going to go to the line for 2.
Foul number 1, Freddie Coolman, his second, team 6. At the line to shoot 2 for Lemont, number 5, Borchers, Castillo.
It's the first one, and for the first time in a few minutes, we have a lead in this game. And he gets the second.
Lemont's still in their full court trap. That ball they're going to call out of bounds on Lemont. Stay down here with DGS.
That looked like a close call right there, but off the knee of 24. Aranis Kaunis for Lemont. Oh,
inside.
That's just Veritas. Woo! Yeah, that's just height. That's just height right there. That's grown man basketball. And this game's tied again.
And this is exactly how DGS needs to play if they want to have a shot in this game. Keep Lemont away from the basket. Make them force shots. That's a great shot right there on that floater. But, you know, force longer possessions, and Jalen House is able to beat the trend with another floater.
Man,
right back at you.
We can't even finish a sentence about one team's buck before we get another one. Back and forth. We are knotted at 18 with just under 2 minutes left in the first half.
I mean, I really think this game might actually come down to a turnover battle.
And as we said earlier, those free throws. Who's going to execute more at the charity stripe? Who's going to end up leaving points on the board? Farida's playing tough defense there. That's going to get picked away by Potter. And he's going to get fouled. Can end up being a good foul right there, as it seemed like Downers Grove South was right out on the break.
Now because of any foul, DGS does get to shoot free throws because they are in the bonus.
And it is going to be a 1-on-1 for Potter. Chance to take the lead here for the Mustangs. Can't get it to go, but rebounded. Another offensive rebound. Downers Grove South dominating the offensive boards right there. As right now, Justin Faridas definitely has a height advantage on the court, and they're going to feed him. He's going to get fouled. Faridas will go to the line.
Foul number 2, Ryan Rennis, his second, team's 10th. At the line to shoot 2, 44, Justin Spateris.
And I know we've talked a lot about the Castillo brothers, and rightfully so, but the Faridas brothers for Downers Grove South have really been performing well for the Mustangs. Bounces the first one in, and Downers Grove South has the lead.
able to make both free throws.
Yeah, in a game like this, you can't leave points like that on the board. So a great job right there by Sferitas. As Murray's going to go down to the left corner. Mattis Castillo. House doing a great job right now. But Castillo's going to dish out deep three for Lemont. Can't get it to go. And that's a Mustang rebound. And we are now under the minute mark in the first half.
Looks like DGS is going to try and slow it down. Take a little bit of time off this clock in the first half.
And for watchers that aren't aware, yes, Illinois has implemented a shot clock for some tournaments, but it is not featured at this tournament. So Downers Grove South can take all 35 seconds off the board if they'd like. Oh, and an errant pass right there. House is going to save it. Plays like that. Eminent of why Downers Grove South could have the lead going into half. Potter working on Castillo. Blocked by Castillo, but rebounded by Downers Grove South. There's a scram for it. And we're going to have a jump ball. And that will be Downers Grove South basketball with 7 seconds left. Another effort play right there by the Mustangs. Allows them to retain possession.
And like we said, Downers Grove South just wasted all the clock there, not giving Lemont a chance to tie the game or take a lead.
Yeah, even if they had lost possession there, right, you're making it a lot harder for Lemont to put up a high-quality shot. As it looks like House's hand, his right hand, is shaking up a little bit. And we're going to have Dominic Marcantelli check in. But first, we're going to have a timeout. And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Kenny Stetler of Compass Realty, as well as Elmer's Camera, and finally, the Sutter Law Group. Once again, I'm Charlie Specht, and I'm joined with Brian Grant, and we're here at the 48th Annual Jack Tosh Holiday Classic. And thanks again for tuning in for this first half. As with 7 seconds left, Downers Grove South will have the ball up 2. And Brian, you know, coming into this game, Lemont was the heavy favorite. Why right now is Downers Grove South seemingly in control?
You know, the game started out as we were suspecting it would be. Lemont had an early lead of like 9-2. But after that, Downers Grove South has been able to, you know, slow the game down, make Lemont pick their shots, and they haven't been able to make them. And on the other end, Lamont's been fouling a lot, which has led, like we can see, there's been 10 fouls so far against Lemont in this first half, which leads to free throws, which DGS hasn't been able to, you know, make so many of them, but it does help them. They have a few free throws. But on the other end, quick buckets that they've been able to make, a few three-pointers, huge plays defensively to cause turnovers that were just able to make up that lead and now have a lead themselves.
And a big chance right here for Downers Grove South to extend their lead to 2 scores or a 2-possession game. That's going to be Marcantelli to inbound for the Mustangs. And he's going to find wide open for 3. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound. Can't get it to go. My goodness. Murray to push the floor. Last second shot. Did not get it off in time. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going into half. The unbeaten Hornets of Lemont trail the Mustangs by 2.
And Charlie, what do you tell your players if you're Lemont right now going into halftime?
Well, I think it's a similar story of what those Downers Grove South Mustangs are going to be telling them. You can't get frantic right now if you're Lemont. They have not been in this situation before this year, and this is going to be a real test of their character as a team. You have to tell them no one needs to be a hero. You don't want to come out there. You don't want someone to put up 10, 15 shots. If it's one of the Castillo brothers, if they're just trying to feed inside, you got to still play your game, because at the end of the day, those coaches and those kids are confident on Lemont that their game is better than Downers Grove South. But if you're Downers Grove South, you're looking at this as an opportunity. You have to keep pushing the pace. You cannot be happy with this lead. And I know there's not a single kid in that locker room that's happy with this 2-point lead. You keep on going at Lemont, pressing them high, and force them to take the errant shots they've taken in the first half.
Now, if you're Lemont, do you change your defense after 10 fouls and a half, or do you just keep it the same way, and if you foul, and hope they miss free throws?
If I'm Lemont, I'm changing the effort. Is the only thing I'm changing. I mean, Downers Grove South is just dominating the offensive rebounds right now. Absolutely dominating. And the reason they have so many fouls is you're having they're having 3-4 possessions when it really only should be one. And in that amount of time, right, you're either going to let up a bucket or you're going to put them at the foul line. So, Lemont's just not playing sound basketball right now, and it's still only a 2-point deficit, which tells you about how talented they are. So we could see a completely different story coming into the second half, or if we see the story we see in the first, this game's going to either come down to one possession, free throws, or just a bucket.
And maybe for Lemont, even a change of a few players and lineups, they are the smaller team, so them being beaten on the boards and inside isn't that surprising to me, so maybe they try and make up for that with a little bit more height.
Yeah, and it seems like they've really struggled with the Savaritis brothers. Not sure if they're twins, but I'm just going to assume.
They're not.
They're not. Okay, my
One's
apologies.
a sophomore, one is a junior.
Wow, one sophomore and a junior, but still, we've talked a lot about the Castillo brothers, but man, they have just dominated the offensive rebounds. They've gotten to the free throw line, although they haven't finished at the free throw line. I know as effectively as they can. They've really been the difference makers in this game. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half of this matchup between the Mustangs of Downers Grove South and the Hornets of Lemont. And Castillo stuck in the left corner. Tough floater, can't get it to go. Rebound Beecham, can't get it to go. Rebound Potter. And Potter's gonna push the floor right here.
So far for Montas Castillo, the shots really just haven't been falling. But, I mean, he's not going to lose his confidence. He's going to keep playing. And he'll find it at some point.
And you know, it's still early, right? So,
yep.
Opportunity for anything to happen. Sferitas with a tough mid-range. Can't get it to go. And there's the other Castillo, Rokas. To Murray. Murray yet to check out of the game so far for Lemont. Castillo to Castillo. Looks like he has Murray open. Passes it off to his brother. Can't get it to go, and rebound to the other Sferitas. This time the sophomore. Over to House. Potter guarded tight by Murray. Now he lays off. Lemont sticking with their man defense here. Downers Grove South trying to set some picks off ball, but Sferitas with a tough finish. My goodness.
Tough lay inside.
The brothers are balling out right now for Downers Grove South. And I thought I would have said Lemont coming into this game, but the Sferitas brothers dominant so far. Castillo, great pass to Beecham. Beecham loses it, kicks it back out to the other Castillo. Tough move by Castillo. Beecham wide open in the corner. Connects. Great find by Castillo. Great finish by Beecham. And Lemont cuts it to 1.
It's a quick timeout there.
Yeah, especially early on in this third quarter. And Brian, you know, we're only about 2 minutes into this third quarter. So far, what are we thinking?
Well, you know, in the same way.
Not many changes.
Yeah, not a whole lot has happened.
Downers Grove South, you know, seeming to still push the pace. Lemont still finding their buckets from outside the three-point range. And
you know, we've been talking a lot about the Spateris brothers. That was only Daniel's first points of the game right there.
Wow, that's crazy. Because they've clearly been the two most notable players on the court so far for both teams. And that's just a testament of what seems like this Downers Grove South team is, you know, they've only allowed 22 points to or 21 points, my apologies, to a 10-0 basketball team through, you know, 2 and almost a half quarters. Lemont sticking with their trap, and a great steal by Castillo there, and that's going to result in a bucket for Lemont. Mistakes Downers Grove South cannot afford to make.
That is a turnover that can't happen. Just giving the ball to them right under your own hoop. We saw that earlier, and that's how Lemont built their lead at the start. There's another steal in the backcourt.
Downers Grove South running out of time to get it over half. The Castillo brothers dominating on defense right now for Lemont. Downers Grove South has not been able to push the ball over half court in about 40 seconds.
Still not past half. Finally get over to House.
Spateris, tough mid-range, gets it to go.
He's got 4.
The sophomore, only with 4, but I mean, he just seems like he's been.
It's a loud 4.
It is a loud 4, that's right. Probably the most noticeable 4 points. And in a game that's, you know, only at 24-23 halfway through the third, it's a difference maker.
He is in foul trouble. That was his 4th foul of the game. He's going to have to sub out.
Good thing there's another one of them, because his older brother remained on the court for Downers Grove South.
And he's been doing well, too. He's got 6 points, and that leads for Downers Grove.
And it still seems like this game, that hasn't been, you know, the biggest difference he's made. It's just been his defense. As Murray can't finish the 3. And Potter's able to beat the trap and get it over for Downers Grove South. Potter. Looking. Can't finish. That's going to be a rebound for Belificius for Lemont. Over to Castillo. Tough floater. Gets it to go.
With the left hand.
But Downers Grove South going to come right back and attack.
Able to get it over half court very, very quickly.
Downers Grove South starting to take their time. As Lemont leads 25-24. House gets it taken away. Castillo pushes the pace. House tries to go for the steal. Does not contest the shot. And Lamont's lead grows to 3. Potter looked like he was about to shoot.
Spateris.
And that's going to be Justin this time. The senior, or the junior who has 1 inch of height on his younger brother. Gets the deep mid-range to go, and Lamont's lead is at 1. Castillo finds Murray. To Mattis Castillo, to Murray, to Beecham. Mid-range at the elbow, gets it to go.
23, Davidus Belavicius.
Downers Grove South picking up their dribble a lot on their own half of the court. Something that could put themselves in danger. So they're running out of time. And a good timeout call right there by the Mustangs.
You know, Lemont, in this third quarter, has been able to pick up their shooting. In the first half, they were shooting just 15% from 3, 28% from the field altogether. And that's the story of why this game was so close. They weren't able to hit their shots. Took 13 3-point attempts to only 2 2-point field goals.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a testament of that Downers Grove South defense in the first half. And, you know, we've definitely seen a little bit of it in this second so far, but Lemont dominating, absolutely dominating on the defensive side, forcing turnovers in Downers Grove South's own half of the court, and it's resulted in 4 points so far for them. So whatever Downers Grove South is going to do in this timeout, I think it's figuring out how we can get over our own first half of the court before we start worrying about how we're going to end up putting that ball in the hoop. And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Kenny Stetler of Compass Realty, as well as Elmer's Camera, and finally the Sutter Law Group. They make streams like this possible, so thank you. And as we come back out, Ryan Runeas for Lemont, a common name we've seen, has checked into the game. Into 3, Mattis Castillo, Rokas Castillo, and Connor Murray. All 3 seniors yet to come out for the Hornets in this game. Looked like they had House open on the far side. Elect not to take it. Tough play right there. Mustangs.
Foul called inside.
And I can't tell yet if it's going to be on the floor or not. And it is going to be on the floor. So it'll be an inbound for Downers Grove South as Beecham checks back in the game. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, Connor Murray will check out for the Lemont Hornets. And an inbound here for Potter. Originally looks for House. Can't find him. Potter. Gets blocked. Great defensive play right there by Lemont. And Castillo's going to slow it down for the Hornets.
Yeah, that's a tough shot inside against bigger opponents.
And that looked like it was on 2 guys. So you might think Lamont's starting to figure out where Downers Grove South is going to go with the ball. As Reneas kicks over Castillo. Castillo, Bilvicius, and Beecham look like they were working on the right side, but no. Over to Runas. Tough finish. Can't get it to go. And here comes Potter pushing the pace. Looks for House originally, but can't get it to go. Castillo on the fast break. It's him and Potter. Potter. And he's going to draw the and one. Woo! Lemont going on a big stretch right here, playing like the team we expected. And the lead is 5 as Castillo gets a chance to put 10 points on the board for his own name.
Foul number 2, Will Potter, his first, team second. At the line to shoot one, Modest Castillo.
Something that's also noticeable in the second half, we've seen a lot less fouls. I mean, 2-1. It was
Yeah, for sure. It was 7-4 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, we've seen a lot less, and honestly, it's hard to tell what the main difference is. It's just a lot less sloppy on both teams' part. As Castillo gets it to go, and the lead grows to 2 possessions for Lemont at 6. House, seeming like he has a path over half court and decides not to take it. And Downsgrove South again, a sloppy turnover. Beecham finds Castillo to the other Castillo. Castillo looks out of bounds, and Veritas forces him out. Big turnover force there by Downsgrove South.
We're starting to see the same trend we saw in the first quarter with DGS. Not being able to get it past half quarter, causing turnovers when they do. And Lamont's just been able to go on a run and build a little bit of a lead. There's a tough bucket inside.
That is a tough bucket. That's number 15, Daniel Lorick. Not a starter for the Trojans, but a huge bucket right there to cut the lead to 4. Lemont passing around the horn. Castillo tries to run baseline. He's tried that a few times this game. Runnis thought about the shot. Looked like he has Beecham wide open down on the block. Elects not to take it. Here's Castillo. Lemont working that elbow. Castillo, open 3 look, off the front rim, rebound Downers Grove South. Under a minute left in this third quarter. What is Downers Grove South gonna do to cut this lead? Potter. House. Over to Lorick. Lorick loses it. Castillo not able to poke it, is able to poke it free. My apologies. And he draws the foul. Freaking name we've said a few times over the past 60 seconds. And Lemont has a chance right now to take the last shot with 36 seconds remaining in the third. Rokas Castillo clearly taking his time. Downers Grove South not applying pressure. And this is what basketball looks like without a shot clock, in case people aren't aware. 10 seconds left, and they start to push the pace. Castillo to Castillo. Castillo, backwards pass. Runis, tough 3. Can't get it to go. Big defensive stand right there by Downers Grove South. But Lemont is going to still lead by 4. End of the third period. And Brian, we saw a mainly, I wouldn't say dominated, but controlled game by Downers Grove South through the first 2 quarters. What happened in the third for Lemont to regain the lead?
Yeah, like we've seen, Downers Grove South has just been unable to get past this half-court press at the start of the third quarter. And even when they do, there's been a lot of times where they've just given the ball right back to Lemont on sloppy passing, haven't been able to hit a lot of their shots that so few of them that they've been taking. And then for Lemont, they've been able to go down the court after their steals, get some buckets in transition. And, both of the Castillo twins have been able to step up a little bit. They have 10 both of them have 10, which is 20 of their 32. And that's been the story of this third quarter so far, is them getting a little bit hotter and causing a ton of turnovers.
Yeah, it seems like they're generating those points, not off of set offensive possessions, but off of steals and turnovers that they've actually forced. And they're kind of playing what seemed like Downers Grove South's basketball game, pressing high, playing good, tough defense, and getting rebounds. As Downers Grove South is not dominated on the boards as much as they did in the first half. But, there's 4 different quarters for a reason. It's not 2 halves, so could be a different tale here in the last 8 minutes of the game. And House is going to inbound for Downers Grove South. And Murray is checked back in.
Going into this fourth quarter, both teams have all 4 of their timeouts. It's a nice play by House to just throw it off the Lemont defender to keep possession.
And I know it's a tough pass, but it seems like a lot on those breaks, they've really had the right corner 3 open. As they're going to try and go over top to Veritas. And he is not able to control it, and that's going to be Lemont ball. That's a play we've seen a lot.
There's something that worked earlier, and they're trying to go back to it. Pass a little too high there.
Mattis Castillo to bring it up for the Hornets. And now Rokas. Bovicius. Over to Castillo. Lemont taking their time here. Only up 4. You know, I might just think they're waiting to get the best possible shot opportunity, but really taking their time. Castillo twins playing a little bit of pass and catch. Downers Grove South not faltering in their defense, although they leave Beecham open in that left corner. Seems like something they've done a lot this game. Not sure exactly of Beecham's shooting ability, but Downers Grove South not afraid to let him shoot.
Yeah, Lemont really slowing it down. Actually see Matas, they aren't even dribbling at this point, just passing around the perimeter. And this is game plan, or you think they seriously don't think they have a good look for a shot?
It's hard to tell because they were a team that shot so poorly from beyond the arc in the first half. As we get some boos from the crowd here. They were a team that shot so poorly from 3 in the first half, kind of started to light it up a little bit in the third quarter. You might think they start, might being a little bit more aggressive on offense, but it looks like they have chances to move the ball down and aren't taking advantage of it. So I would think this is more or less an opportunity to waste time rather than as a skill issue, you might say.
This game might be exhibit A of why high school basketball needs a shot clock.
Yeah, and in case you're just joining us and aren't aware, there is no shot clock at the Jack Tosh tournament. It was something IHSA is implementing for some games and some tournaments, but is not here at the Jack Tosh. As Downers Grove South starts to press up. It was something they did early on in the game, but kind of faltered away from and, aren't even doing while Lamont's wasting this much time. And they're officially wasted 1 minute and 30 seconds in this possession alone.
Just interested to see if Downers Grove South is starting to press up a little bit, but they really aren't putting pressure on the ball handler.
Breaking news, Castillo passes it to Castillo. Downers Grove South not changing their defense as we were almost at the 2-minute mark of time taken off the clock here. A lot of collapse from the Downers Grove South defense, not a lot of tip passes. And there it is, Downers Grove South, yep. We saw the coach call it. Downers Grove South is going to start to press up now. But Lemont not faltering in what they're planning to do on offense. The ball is yet to go past the 3-point arc in the last 3 minutes of basketball. And there it is, Castillo. Over to Murray. Murray to Castillo. Castillo finally takes the shot and draws, ladies and gentlemen, after about what feels like a millennium of basketball. Rokas Castillo makes what could end up being the play of the game. And the and one. Draws the and one after about 4 minutes. And he is on the board, ladies and gentlemen.
Back in the game for Downers South, number 15,
Downers Grove South seemingly trying to go a little bit bigger here with that substitution. That's going to be number 15, Daniel Lorick, checking into the game for number 1, Freddie Coleman. Castillo can't get it to go. Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing me right. Downers Grove South has the basketball.
It only took them halfway through the fourth.
Hard to analyze something like that when quick shot, by the way, after taking about 4 minutes and is not going to get to go. You like to think, since he was just subbed in, that was a game plan thing, that he was going to take that shot really no matter what. Castillo, some tough moves, but Potter sticking with him.
Downers Grove South actually has Jalen House just locking Rokas off. Nice up and under move. Gets his own rebound.
Mattis can't get it to go, but he goes to Murray. Beecham could have had the three if he stayed out, decided not to. And ladies and gentlemen, back to Mattis. Mattis finds Beecham in the corner. Beecham's first three, can't get it to go, but Lemont getting offensive rebound, tips it up. Sferitas now pushes the pace for Downers Grove South. They need a bucket right now. I know that lead might only be 6, but with how both teams are playing right now, that seems like a mountain. Sferitas takes a three. Can't get it to go, but rebound House. Great play right there. Looks like it was tipped. Lorick catches the ball basically on Murray's head and finds Potter in the lane. Potter gets big as a guard, but can't get it to go. And Murray's gonna push the pace for Lemont, and he's gonna get it poked away. Potter pushing, finds Lorick.
Let's see it.
Lorick for three, can't get it to go. And Beecham takes it in the corner, but is able to hold on to it.
And now they're going to slow it down.
We've had about 4 shots. We've had about 4 shots so far in this fourth quarter, and we are almost done with it. As we are shocking, Lamont's going to choose to stop the clock, as it seems like for the past about 6 minutes, they've chosen to do nothing but run it. And, you know, Brian, typically I would ask you, what do you think so far of this fourth quarter, but
I think nothing of it.
it's hard to think much of it, as Lemont has seemingly done nothing but try and take off that clock. And in Downers Grove South's small opportunities to score, they've seemed to falter. And we'd like to take this opportunity to thank again our sponsors, Kelly Stetler of Compass Realty, as well as Elmer's Camera, and finally the Sutter Law Group. Thank you guys for making streams like this possible. And here comes Lemont. Murray, right after the timeout break, to Castillo. And here comes Downers Grove South with the trap. Clearly aware of what Lamont's strategy is, as they're gonna lose it, but no. Castillo's gonna get it. Looked like it might have been a travel there, but no. Lemont, Beecham, wide open on the block.
Oh, geez.
Foul right there by Lorick. Oh, my apologies, my apologies. That is not Lorick, that's Dominic Marcantelli.
Beecham is going to go to the line. Unless it's not a shooting foul.
It is not a shooting foul. It seemed like they might have called it when he was on his way down from a pump fake. And the Sferitas brothers will both be in now for the Mustangs. And you like to think they'll be in for the rest of the game. Quick shot by Lemont. Can't get it to go. Sferitas, big rebound. Downers Grove South. The chance to get their first points of the fourth quarter.
2 minutes left. Timeout called.
I don't hate that timeout call right there. You need bucket here. You need a bucket here right now. Whether it's 2 or 3, you just need to get on the board in the fourth quarter.
It does not have to be a three-pointer.
It does not have to be a three-pointer. Shocker.
But
and you don't need to take 5 seconds. You don't need to get it off fast. I think you just really need to get the best possible shot right here, because a bucket right now is just a momentum shifter, and that's kind of all Downers Grove South needs. Can Downers Grove South generate their first points of the fourth quarter? And in case you're just joining us, this was a game where Downers Grove South went into halftime with a 2-point lead, but Lemont is slowly starting to draw away. Sferitas is going to take a quick shot, can't get it to go, and rebound for Castillo. He's going to push the pace on Potter. Nice Euro step, but can't finish. Good offensive board. And it's going to be an offensive foul. A push. Goodness, that's going to be an offensive foul on number 23, Devatis Bilvicius. And that's big right there for Downers Grove South because a three-point play right there might have put this game away, but no. Lorick.
So it looks like they have house.
That's
down low.
And I know we've talked about that all game, and in case you're viewing at home and you can't see it off camera, it seems like they have a runner when trying to get out of their own half. It might just be, you know, their coach doesn't trust it. Could be end up being an errant pass if it's a skip pass, but seems like they've had that all day and haven't taken advantage. It's a great play by Castillo. Freed just kind of hung it out to dry.
Go
to his brother. House tries to contest it, but no, draws the foul. Castillo with a great finish. These Castillo brothers have taken off in the second half for Lemont on both sides of the ball. As Rokas actually looks a little bit shaken up there, but gets an opportunity here to extend the lead to 9 with only 1:17 remaining.
All 5 point scorers are currently on the floor for Lemont.
Wow, interesting, yeah. And this is the 5 we've kind of seen the entire game. Lemont not electing to go to their bench often. Veritas got to generate something quick when you're down 9 with a minute left. And he gets it taken away. Lemont, seeming like they're playing Downers Grove South style of defense now. Castillo finds Murray, won't shoot. And I think we all know what Lamont's going to elect to do for the next 50 seconds. No! And you might think that's not a shot you want to take right there if you're Castillo. You know, even if you draw the block right there, that's an opportunity to stop the clock.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was shaken up a few possessions ago. So Downers Grove South, a chance yet again to get on the board for the first time. That's right, the first time in the fourth quarter. And in case you're just joining us and you're not sure why, Lemont took 5 minutes with 1 possession.
My notes here. It says that Downers Grove South school colors is Navy/Columbia blue.
Interesting.
Not sure if you've ever heard of the shade Columbia blue.
You know, you don't see that very often. You know, I like to think Columbia, New York, they do don that color. So you might think that's where that's coming from, as it is a typical or a similar shade. But, you know, it's a little bit different from Lamont's navy and gold. A very, very typical color combo that you'll see. Although with Hornets, you're usually seeing a black and yellow, so Potter's gonna bring it up for the Mustangs. 43 seconds. Yet again, taking their time getting up the court. Veritas, the sophomore, gets a screen from his brother, the junior. Tough mid-range, a shot that was falling earlier, doesn't fall now. Castillo moving quickly down the court, almost gets it stolen by his own teammate, and it's gonna be a carry. So, Downers Grove South, what can they do with the basketball on offense? This fourth quarter so far, nothing. But, ladies and gentlemen, that can change with 1 basket. And they need a momentum shifter now.
I mean, who's their guy that they go to make a 3?
I mean, it's got to be, it's hard to tell right now. As Farid is open in the corner, and Potter is just going to take a layup on about 4 people.
Yeah, you got to pass that one out there.
And with 12 seconds left, this game's going to come to an end. But, I mean, you just have to think that was a pretty unbelievable performance by the Mustangs. I mean, this was a team 2-6. You know, you would think Lemont could have been double-digit favorites here. And Downers Grove South came in, absolutely dominated that second quarter, and were able to go into the end of the first half with a 2-point lead. But the Castillo brothers, just a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much for the Mustangs here in the second half. And Mattis can't get it to go. It's Veritas, the junior, And I would like to say there's clearly a great future for this Mustangs team. There's clearly, my apologies, there's clearly a great future for this Mustangs team, as they only had one senior in their starting lineup versus Lemont's, who featured 5 seniors, as Lemont's going to check in some kids who haven't played yet this game. But clearly a great future here for the Mustangs, as they just kept it really close. It was one of the better teams in the state.
You know, this will be an interesting team to look forward to in Lemont. I think you could blame this performance a little bit on their poor shooting in the first half, but it's definitely a surprise to see Downers Grove South keep them within single digits. So,
yeah, first game too, you know, they might have come off a little bit shaken, and you'd like to think that they didn't underestimate, or Lemont didn't underestimate Downers Grove South, but that first half performance, it was something that definitely could have been entirely possible. And again, we want to thank our sponsors, Kelly Stetler of Compass Realty, as well as Elmer's Camera and the Sutter Law Group. We also want to thank Rob Wagner and the staff here at York High School for just hosting such a great tournament. You know, this school, it's just unbelievable, and we're so thankful to have such a great event like this. Once again, I'm Charlie Specht.
I'm Brian Grant.
And we are live from the 48th Annual Jack Tosh Holiday Classic. Stick around. We'll have Andrew and Conant coming up next, and the winner of that game will play Lemont. The loser will play the Mustangs of Downers Grove South. We just want to thank you for watching and hope you guys enjoy.